How'd you do that?
I'm the Batman. Keep an eye on it for me, kid.
I think the intention was to bring together a new group of talent to sort of give the new Batman sort of a fresh take. And it was very daunting, very difficult to follow in the footsteps of the great Batman the Animated Series.
As we'd all get together and I talk with people, we sat there, we go, what things can we change and what things shouldn't we mess with? I think you could mess with villains, I think you could mess with side characters, but I don't think it's the best idea to change Batman.
What was important to us in doing the new series, The Batman, was to show Batman as he hadn't been seen before at a point in his career that hadn't been the subject of the prior series. So in our show, Batman is young. He's maybe Batman year 3. He's not at the full peak of his strength and his talents. He's still vulnerable and learning how to grow into the Dark Knight he ultimately becomes.
Well, some of the influences we looked at early on, obviously I think if you look at the show, you can see that there's some Japanese anime influence. I thought that is just something that would be fun to play with and really look for new ways of presenting the classic elements. How can we make them fresh and entertaining to a new audience as well as those of us that are familiar with the character?
When redesigning a new show with Batman, there are a lot of things you need to keep and some things that you can get rid of. I made the ears shorter because that just seems more boxer-like, more enclosed. He's not quite the detective yet, so he relies more on his fighting. He has the yellow oval back, and we went to the retro colors. It's just a different take rather than having the big brow and the long pointy nose.
The Batman? What if I hadn't been decent?
You're never decent, Joker.
The dramatic dilemma posed by the series is, at the beginning of year 3, he's cleaned up Gotham, but almost as a result of this new Dark Knight, suddenly a new breed of supervillain has risen out of the darkness. So as our series begins, he's meeting Joker, Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Catwoman, all these crazies, you know, for the very first time.
The Joker in our series began with a crazy drawing that Jeff did that everybody kind of loved, but was such a radical departure from the classic character that, you know, it was very inspiring for all of us.
The Joker is a crazy person who's intelligent and is like the nemesis of Batman. He has a white face because it's bleached out because of his accident. So if he's crazy, I just want to continue that frame of thinking. He's from a mental institute, so he has the long sleeves on. He doesn't have shoes on. His hair is still green. So from the read of the audience, I think it still reads pretty much like Joker.
Bruce Wayne, king of the castle, ruler of the roost.
Have we met?
Cobblepot, Oswald Cobblepot.
Penguin, we thought, even though Penguin's an old soul, in our minds, he's Bruce Wayne's age. You know, he's late 20s, early 30s. We sort of saw him as the anti-Bruce, you know, where Joker is Batman's nemesis. Penguin in our series really has it out for Bruce Wayne. Why? Because Bruce Wayne has everything the Penguin doesn't have.
And on top of that, we just threw in that, why doesn't Penguin know martial arts himself, you know? There are sort of examples of that in Hong Kong cinema, of the sort of portly character that suddenly whips out all these moves. Why not? You know, it just suddenly made the character come to life for us in a new way.
You are not welcome here, Mr.
Freeze will do.
Mr. Freeze is an interesting one. We purposefully set out to not make Mr. Freeze as he was in Batman the Animated Series. Really, the main reason is Heart of Ice is such a classic and so many fans' favorite Batman episode. Why touch that? So, you know, our choice was to go the way we did with Freeze, you know, make him a little bit more of a mutant, a little bit more of a straight-ahead villain.
The biggest difference with Mr. Freeze is that as opposed to being sort of a humanoid character encased in glass that fires ice from a gun, our Mr. Freeze internally produces ice and fires the ice directly from his hand.
I think across the board, we wanted to take villains who were typically strange variations on like crime bosses and sort of make this show less of a crime show and more of a superhero show.
This show is so much fun. It's incredible. Everybody involved loves the character, from voice talent to artists to writers. There's a great sense of responsibility and also a great sense of honor in even being entrusted with this character. It's just an amazingly gratifying experience.
It's pretty much a kid's dream to get to redesign like the Bat universe. You look back and you just see a fresh take on things, which I think is really cool.
With this collection of the first year, you see what we've accomplished in the first season and the story arc that carries through the first 13. So this is a great start of the Batman series. We're going to continue to make it even better for many seasons to come.